Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode, the Christmas special. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and had a good holidays, some time off. I know I was lazy, but it was an amazing 2 days of just lots of football across England. Obviously, a couple of big games, the London Derby. We also had Manchester United versus Leicester City. So there's a lot of talking points, man, from this Christmas break that we've had. So Charles, how you feeling today? How was your Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas wasn't bad. Yeah, like I said, the weight of this year was kind of a bit heavy, but other than that,
Yeah,
you make the best of it, right?
I know it feels
Yeah.
like that anticipation because 2020 is almost over, so everyone is kind of, and obviously with the vaccine, everyone's
Mm.
thinking that we should have a better 2021. But you know what? Overall, yeah, hopefully it was relaxing for you
Yeah.
in terms of just taking some time off and spending time with family. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's good, man. So let me just, let's get straight to it. Arguably the biggest talking point, I know as United fans, this is very controversial, man. The Manchester United Leicester City game. Just what was your thought on the result, on the team? Yeah, just let me know
Yeah, I guess.
because I have a lot to say, man. So I don't want
I
to. I don't
mean,
want
it was a game we just needed. I would have loved to have won, obviously. Um, that would have put us like 2 points behind Liverpool.
to.
The
Yeah,
pressure on them a bit. I bet they probably wouldn't want to look over their shoulder and see Man United as opposed to Leicester in second place.
yeah.
So
Sorry, Charles. Could you adjust your camera? Like, okay, can I see half your head? Okay, that's
yeah,
good. I think that should be good. Yeah.
sweet. Um, yeah, obviously, would have loved to have won it. Um, Leicester are kind of becoming a force as well in the Premier League with Brendan Rodgers, so that's nice to see like another rival. But yeah,
They've shown a lot of consistency too,
yeah,
Leicester City in the last couple of years.
hmm
So yeah, I know people don't really rate them as title contenders just because they're the new
the last time
Liverpool.
was a fluke.
Yeah, the last time was a fluke, and then they've kind of be like old school Liverpool, whereby they start so well, everyone
Mm,
gets gassed, and then they just kind of lose steam
yeah,
around the final leg of the season. So yeah, but so just looking at the lineup, man, like how did you feel Ole got the team started? Because obviously, I know we didn't do the last show when actually we did the show with when we smacked Leeds 6-1. That was an amazing result. Obviously, McTominay, he stole the show in that game. I was really happy for him, man. I'm not a big fan of McTominay, starting every game, but
hmm
I was rooting for him in that game. I was hoping he scored a hat trick. I was actually
yeah,
pissed off at Bruno for taking that penalty. I was like, just give the man his flowers, man. Like, but and then James did his thing in that game, scored a goal. He hasn't scored since the beginning of last season, right?
mm,
Um, and then Ole changes the team for Everton. I think McTominay was injured, so he started Pogba, Matic instead of Fred, and then he had Cavani, Martial, and I think was it Rashford? No, Rashford was on the bench. He had Rashford and sorry, Martial, Cavani, and Greenwood. And then Rashford was on the bench. And I honestly felt that was the strongest performance we've had in a very, very long time. We're talking seasons,
mm,
in terms of just controlling possession. I know people were frustrated because we didn't, what's it called? We didn't score till like I think it was the 78th minute or whatever, but we were just controlling the game comfortably. And then against Leicester City, a second place team, Ole decides to start McTominay, Lindelof as right back, and James. So how are you feeling about that setup? How are you feeling about that setup? Did you feel like Ole was giving Leicester a lot of respect? Do you feel like he was trying to play on the counter? Like, what were how do you think Ole was feeling on that?
I mean, did you say Lindelof is right back?
Lindelof is right back, man. And even at the beginning of the game, I don't know about you, but it seemed like even James was playing left back at some point. Just the way the structure was.
Yeah, I mean, when has Lindelof ever played right back?
I think he's played it once, but it's not. It wasn't something to write
It's
home
not a
about.
natural fit. I don't think he was giving Leicester a lot of respect, to be honest with you.
True. That's true.
I don't know why when even sometimes he struggles at his actual position. So I love the guy. He's a good. I think he's a good player and all, but that's an odd choice.
Yeah.
I know that one just sticks out for me.
And that was the thing. So I wake up 7 o'clock in the morning. It was a rough morning, man. Trying to wake up Boxing Day. Um, you know, and then I look at the starting 11. Obviously, I've been that guy so far. I told you last time is I'm not gonna care about the starting lineup. I'm just gonna see what happens because Ole seems to keep proving us wrong every time we complain about the lineup. And then, but that morning, there was just something about that Leicester City game that I was not expecting that lineup. Especially, after watching that Everton game, I was thinking like we finally have our starting 11. We actually have our strongest starting 11. Maybe I might swap Greenwood for Rashford. I might swap Matic for Fred. Twanzebe, maybe Twanzebe was right back against Everton. Yeah, maybe I might swap Twanzebe for Wan-Bissaka. But that was it. That was it. That's all I would have changed on that starting lineup against Everton. And for him to, against the second place team as Leicester, he decides to start McTominay. Okay, I can get it that he's trying to, reward McTominay for his performance against Leeds. Daniel James. How does Daniel James, what business does he have to be on that field against a second place team like Leicester? What business does he have being on that squad?
Well, I mean, you gotta give them the big game sometimes, right? That's where they sink or swim.
No, not Daniel James. McTominay, I could say that. Not Daniel James, man. What has Daniel James showed you? Like, what has Daniel James shown us that he's fit to start? He can't even start against Sheffield United.
I'm just saying in terms of consistency. Some players are big game players.
No, not Daniel James, man. Not Daniel James. McTominay.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I swear.
McTominay, I can say he's a big game guy because that goal he scored against Man City last season. He's he's put up numbers. He's put up he's scored goals when we've needed them. So Scott McTominay, I can say okay, he's a big game player. He works hard. But James, man, those games like maybe the bottom 5, 7 in the league. Those are the kind of games that you rest your Brunos, you rest your Pogbas, and then you slap on a James on there, not the other way around. And it's baffling, man, with Ole because it's like he's picking his weakest team for the strong games, and then he's picking his strongest team for the weak games. And it's just like I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's just trying to please the players. When it's like in FIFA where you have you get trigger happy, you want to have all these players on your team, and then you buy all these players because you can, and then you're like, oh crap, it's an 11-man squad. Like I can only play 11 players, but you have someone like Messi on the bench. Because you gotta pay.
Bro, I was ruthless. What? If they complained, I sold them.
If they couldn't play, you sold them.
They
No, but
complain, on FIFA. Like I remember you get those little memos where it's like, "Oh, I want game time," or
yeah,
"I'm looking at other options," or "Oh, hey boss, please play me in the Champions League final." I'm like,
I'm
"Nah,
feeling good. I
I'll
hope
play
I
you
lose
when I
this
play you."
again.
If I got those emails, I would like literally put them on the transfer list.
But you know what's so funny? That's what it feels like Ole's doing with this team, man. I feel like
Yeah.
it's just like he's trying to he's rotating the team, even though he says in his press conferences that he's not rotating the team. He is. Like, how do you go from Leeds? We had 9 changes from the Leeds game. And then this game, I think we had like 6 or 7 changes. That's changing the team.
Mm.
Yeah, because you're not changing. The only players that have started every game, well, mostly every game, Bruno, Maguire, and Rashford. That's it. Everybody else is, chopping and changing, trying to figure this out, trying to please Matic, trying to please McTominay, trying to please Pogba, trying to please Van der. Not even. Well, he's not trying to please Van der Beek. That's the only person who he doesn't care to please at all. He'll rather please James than Van der Beek. But it's true though. That's what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
And
It's just funny. It's like it's just funny. He's like you're spitting venom about Daniel James. I love it.
no, I love Daniel. No, and that's the thing that's sad. I love Daniel James, but come on, man, don't be putting this guy in the deep end to just
Yeah.
get crucified. You know what I mean? And it's like an game after game, except for the Leeds game. Every other game that James has started, he's been subbed off in the 54th minute. What does that tell you? So why are you wasting a player? Why are you wasting the sub? Why are you wasting the position? Why are you wasting the player?
Yeah.
So it's like if time and time again, he does nothing in the first half, and then you have to sub him off less than 10 minutes into the second half. That's a sign that, okay, you know
But
what?
but you're also assuming that it's always down to a bad performance.
No, it is down to
Sometimes it's
bad
other
performance,
stuff.
man. It is down to bad performance because when James, you don't just sub someone in the 54th minute every game, bro, because he's done nothing in the entire game. Because he's done nothing, just runs around. But so going back to the result, do you take it the 2-2 draw at the King Power Stadium? Do you take that as 2 points dropped or a solid point? Because arguably, at the end of the day, as much as we can get all heated up about it, it's still second place Leicester City at the end of the day.
What do I think of it? At the end of the
Do you think
day,
it's 2 points dropped or a solid point that could help us down the road?
it's always 2 points dropped. It's always 2 points dropped,
Yeah.
as
Well,
Alex Ferguson would say.
yeah, always 2 points dropped, especially with how, and this is where for me is so frustrating, right?
Mm.
I wasn't really frustrated about the result, like the score. I mean, let me say the score line, as I was for how we set up for the game. That's what I was more upset about.
Okay.
It's how we set up because we set up defensively. What's his name? I was watching the Statman Baines show, and apparently McTominay only had 45 touches on the ball all game. Tillemans was running circles, bro, around our midfield till Pogba came on. Like, I'm not saying Pogba didn't do much in that game because it was one of those games that was just like to the point where nobody could have saved it. You know what I mean? It was that where it's just kind of all over the place. No one was listening to this commentary. And no one knew what Pogba's role was because he was helping Luke Shaw at left back. He was mostly at that left back side. But coming in created a bit of stability because as much as people who like can, because when you watch football, it's not just watching somebody running around and scoring a goal. That's not all you're watching. You're watching a system. You're watching how this guy's playing. And what I've found time and time and time again is when you put Fred, McTominay, and Bruno in a midfield, especially in a midfield like Leicester City that hold the ball, they pass. They actually do have a system of passing. I find that it's just so all over. It's so disorganized. I don't know who's playing what. There's always such a huge gap in the middle because between Fred and McTominay, yeah, they can retrieve the ball. They know how to intercept. But what do they do with the ball after they intercept it? Nothing, because they don't know how to push the ball forward. And then you
I
have,
thought I
sorry?
thought Thread's been having a decent run recently.
No, Fred was good in that game, man. Fred was good in that game. And this is where it comes back to we do not need two Freds. We don't need two
Okay.
holding midfielders. We just need Fred or Matic. We don't need the two of them. And that's the problem I'm trying to say is we need to have some connectivity. And that's where the Van de Beek comes in or the Pogba comes in, is you need that connectivity. Pogba is not good at getting the ball from the back, but he's a CM. His role is to connect the defensive midfielder to the cams and the attackers. Is that middle person that gets it going. But the problem is we have two holding midfielders all the time, and then we have Bruno, who is basically a center forward. Whoever Nobody wants to believe that, but that's basically his role. He ain't a cam. He's further up the pitch than Martial and Rashford. So when you have, so that's why we always have so much space in the middle, and then you always see Bruno has to come deep to get the ball, or Martial has to come deep to get the ball, or Rashford has to come deep to get the ball because you're missing that. There's that little middle piece that you're missing there, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There is that link that you're missing, and it's like, why hasn't Ole how is Ole not seeing this? Like, how is everybody seen except for Ole? There's a reason why when you either bring Van der Beek on or Pogba and they start, it's different. We control the midfield. We're not having people just the balls is just going like it's just like what's happening. I think we had like 44% ball possession, both halves.
Mm.
No one could hold the ball. It was just Bruno gets the ball from deep, like the first goal that we conceded. Bruno's getting the ball from deep. I don't know what he's trying to pass because the closest man is, I think it was it Daniel James was the closest person to him. So he's trying to do a long, like an 80-yard pass from
Yeah.
our defense. And that's why, because we don't have people who can hold the ball in the midfield. That's what I'm saying. And that's where it's so frustrating to watch us play. And then, yeah, we managed to score a goal because Bruno is good at those hits you with those balls. One of them finally goes through. Either Rashford or Martial gets on it, we score a goal, and everyone just kind of forgets how crappy and how sloppy the play has been for the last 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's where I really get very upset. And it's like, why are you playing Lindelof right back when you have Twanzebe on the bench? You had Williams on the bench. People don't rate Williams, but he's a natural right back. Why so that kind of shows me it's like you're just playing people to please them. You know what I'm saying? Cavani has shown us since he's come in that he's an asset. Like he came in and assisted Bruno's goal. Literally, like came in and assisted. So it's like Ole has all this ammo, but he's just not using it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's just not using it. I know I could be rambling right now, but
No.
I'm just so done, bro. Like, and that's a part that we've become so like, I don't know if it's soccer has become like Americanized now, where we're just so focused on numbers. We're so
Also
focused
has.
on numbers. It's become that. You can't tell me, yeah, Bruno's putting up all these numbers. You can't tell me he's better than a Zidane. You can't tell me he's better than a Xavi. But those players in today's era, when you look at their numbers was not that great. Like Zidane wasn't scoring 12 goals a season. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of the greatest players to ever grace the field. He wasn't putting up those numbers. Xavi wasn't putting up those assists, but it's what they did to the collective team is how they made everybody around them better, is how they distributed the ball.
Mm.
And I think that's what we need to get back to in the sport, man. I think we're just so passion merchants, and if you can score 100 goals, even if you came last in the league, because you scored 100 goals, you're amazing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I don't know, man. I'm just so lost. I'm just so lost with Ole, um, with his decision making. But at the same time, I got to give him credit for where we are. You know what I mean? Like this is the best we've ever been. What, third place? My worry is when he keeps making decisions like this, because it's the same decision making whereby he had Cavani, Pogba, Van de Beek on the bench in the Champions Leagues. That's what he did, and that's why we crashed. You know, you're bringing Cavani and Pogba on in the 70th minute to save the game. Meanwhile, they should have started from the beginning. It's like we're always trying to like catch up in the games. It's like we're always trying to play catch up. And
Mm.
when you go to Europe, you get found out because that's quality right there. Yeah, you can get away with the Sheffield United. You can get away with the Leeds United. You can get away with your West Broms. Yeah, you'll get away with those because they don't have the quality. When you have the quality, like Leicester showed us with Vardy, when they have quality, we get punished. And to me, and that's where I'm like, I want Ole to succeed. I want Ole to succeed. But it's this little fine margin decisions that he keeps making at the most crucial time that lets us down every single time. We get so gassed. We get so gassed as fans. And then when it now matters, when it's like that last result to get us over that hump, he just pulls the unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? So to me, man,
Starting Daniel James,
sorry?
like starting Daniel James.
Right, Daniel James. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't start McTominay, you shouldn't start Daniel James, but there's games for them, man. There's games for them. You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild. You know what I mean? Like, how do you play against a team like Leicester City that has Madison, Telles, and Ndidi? I mean, Telemans, Ndidi. That's a solid midfield. They're not as good as our midfield. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if we actually started our right midfield, they're not as good as our midfield. But how are you thinking that you're going to start James and McTominay in the same midfield? Like, what are you at? Like,
They're
where do
still
you
young, to be fair. I
what?
know they're still young, to be fair. I know they're not like Rashford level, but like still young. You know, like you got to give them some. You got to give them some of the games.
No,
I know. I know what you're saying. Like you
I'm
know, there's
not saying you
games for
shouldn't give
them.
them some of the games. Bring
Players
them off
don't
the
get
bench.
better if you play them. You know, every single time the bottom seven teams come around. You know.
Okay, why is Man City doing that? Why is Liverpool doing that? Why are championship winning teams doing that? That's how you win championships. Yes, you bring your Origi off the bench. You bring your uh who does City have? You bring what's his name? The 21-year-old kid off the bench. You
Gabriel
do it,
Jesus.
sir. Phil
Gabriel
Foden
Jesus.
and those guys. Yeah. Phil Foden. Well, Jesus is injured now, but he's been starting because Aguero's been injured. But yeah, like I said, in the big games, Pep is not gonna if Aguero is fit, no matter how good Jesus has performed, Aguero is starting. Because those are the big games. Those are the games that think about yourself as a fan, right? You pay $1,000 ticket to go watch a Manchester derby, and then you have your bench squad players playing. Like, even as a fan, I'll be so disappointed. Imagine if you took a flight from Canada all the way to Manchester for the biggest game of the season, Manchester Derby or against Arsenal back in the day, and then you have the likes of Thierry Henry, your Pogba's, your Dennis Bergkamp's on the bench, while your Wiltods are playing. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Or your Phil Neville's or your Ji Sung Park. They're good players, but that's not what we're paying for. If that makes sense. We're paying
Mm-hmm.
to see our quality players play. And beginning of the season, I got it. But you can't tell me in the last 7 games, Pogba's performance has been pretty up there. Like he's been one of our main guys. Cavani has been one of our main guys. Every time Van de Beek has played, he hasn't disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing. Yeah, beginning of the season, Pogba was awful. Yeah, I understand. Bench him. Cavani was still trying to get into fitness. I get it. Bench him. You know, But these guys are actually performing. They're showing you that they're performing on a high level. So to me, it's like, why are you benching them now? They're
Yeah,
performing. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree with that.
That's the frustrating part. We've talked
Mm.
about it. It's like, okay, I think Pogba has proved himself now that he should be starting games. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he doing differently? Yeah, he's not scoring goals, but he's contributing a lot to the team as well. Cavani is scoring goals and assisting. Why is he on the bench?
Mm.
You think Mourinho? Look at Mourinho's Tottenham, bro. This guy starts the same team every game, whether they lose, win, or tie. He's starting the same team. Yeah, he doesn't have the same squad depth that we have, but you just got to start your. Especially the season is so tight right now that you lose 2 games, you're out. Your relegation. That's how tight the league is. So no manager right now. Liverpool doesn't have the luxury of benching their best players. They don't. City doesn't have that luxury. Apparently, I was listening to the thing where apparently Guardiola told KDB, "Well, I'm going to rest you." I think it was like he rested him for like I think the first couple of games of the season, and he's like, "I'm going to play you till I think it was like till February or something like that every game." Because he's like, I need my best players on this field because it's going to be a tight league. You can't afford to be having Daniel Jameses on the field. It's too high at stake, man, for that.
I'm
You know,
sorry, that kills me. That kills me.
that's all I'm saying, man. But you know what? That result, I think, as a result, as a tie, it wasn't bad. We at the end of the
Mm.
day, if it was against Sheffield United, yeah, I'll be livid, man. Like I would literally fly to Manchester and you know
Mhm.
fire Ole myself. But it's against Leicester. That's a good squad. So if we came out with our strong 11 and we still tied the game, I'll still, everybody as a fan, you want your team to win every game as a fan. Like that's just a given. But I won't be like, oh, Ole screwed up or man, we could have done better because I know we put our best foot forward and we got the game right.
Mm.
But when you come out and you're playing so defensively, it's just not acceptable. And in the first half, I'm like, this game is not a game that we should be sitting back and defending. This is not a game for that. You know what I mean? But Ole just doesn't see it. And that's where it troubles me, man. I love Ole. I want to support him, but it does trouble me on how. But just to kind of move on from the rant, um, do you officially feel like we're United are title contenders at this point?
Mm. No, no.
What?
We have to be. We
Come
have to be
on,
beating
man.
teams like Leicester.
Sorry?
We have to be beating teams like Leicester.
Well, we have one game in hand, remember. So we're technically above Leicester. We have one game in hand. If we win our next two, we're only I think 3 points behind Liverpool or 2 points behind Liverpool. So
I, I think. To, I also think it's still too early to say for Man United. Give me until you know, let's say February, and they're still in this similar position. Then I'll say.
okay, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
I say we had a do you feel like because that was kind of like the whole argument among the fan base is a lot of non-United fans or pundits or whatever don't believe that United are in the title race.
Mm-hmm.
And is it down to the quality or is it down to the coach? Because it's crazy that people are saying, "Oh, Man City is still in the race. Oh, Tottenham is still in the race. Oh, Leicester is in the race. Oh, Chelsea's in the race." But we were doing better than all those teams.
Anyone who's still saying Tottenham's in the race is dumb as shit. I don't really have any sympathy for them. I'm sorry, but and I just had to get that in there because
Yeah.
I called it and I said they would do a Tottenham. I said multiple times they would do a Tottenham, so I just had to get that in there.
Yeah.
For Sorry, what was your question again?
No, I was just saying, like, do you
Oh,
feel like the reason you're saying that, like, you're gonna wait till February, is it because you just don't believe in the manager? That he's like, no, like, you don't believe in him. Obviously, he's done a great job so far, but you don't believe him in the sense of he's gonna take us to that level whereby, um, you know what I mean? Like when you have like a manager like Klopp
hmm.
and they're top of the league at December, you can feel comfortable as a Liverpool fan that yeah, we can win this, even though yeah we're shaky, we can still win it. Do you feel that it's just because we all just don't believe that Ole's good enough to take us through the entire season?
No, I just think because it's still too early to say in the
Hmm.
season.
Yeah,
I think that there has to be more consistency shown, a few more big games shown, um, for me to say that they're title contenders. Put in a good performance against a Liverpool or, I mean, yeah, I guess a Liverpool or an Arsenal or like any big team,
yeah,
and I will say fair enough, but
yeah.
it's still just a bit too early in the league for me.
Okay. And do you feel like Ole? Do you feel like he's changing the team way too much now? Do you feel like at some point we need to have not just a consistent performance, but I feel like in order to have a consistent performance, you have a consistent team. Not saying that you should have the same 11 starting every game, but like you can live like you know what I mean. When you let's look at this, Liverpool, you know what the starting 11 is going to be on a good day. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's no injuries, you know what their starting 11 is going to be, right?
Hmm.
Let's go with Man City. You know what their starting 11 is going to be. Who else? Tottenham. You know what their 11 is going to be. Chelsea. You sort of know what their 11 is going to be, but I think it's just the injury and fitness levels of the new players. What's his name is chopping and changing. You know who else? Who else did we? Who else is a big guy? Leicester City. Leicester. You know what their starting 11 is going to be on a good day. I don't
Hmm.
know if any other team that are missing out on. Everton, the same thing. If Everton, if they had Rodriguez fit, they had all these guys fit. You know what the starting 11 is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like if we just think about as silly as fantasy league, I can't pick a Manchester United player because apart from Bruno, I finally got Bruno on my fantasy. By the way, apart from Bruno,
Congratulations.
thanks, man. Actually, did well for me this. I got Salah, Mohamed Salah, and Bruno this week, but
Not bad, not bad.
yeah, I lost a lot of points though because I think you only allowed one trade per week, but I did multiple trades. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna just, bite the bullet, do all these trades, and then, sit for a bit, you know. And but yeah, sir, back to what I was saying. Apart from Bruno, I can't maybe Bruno and Maguire, but I'll never pick Maguire on my fantasy league. But apart from Bruno, I can't pick a Manchester United player because I don't know if they're actually going to play or they're going to start. That's what I'm trying to say is
Yeah,
every other team, it's been 2 seasons. It's been 2 years, and we still don't know our starting 11. That says a lot.
yeah. Well, I mean, it seems to be working in some way, shape, or form.
That's the crazy part.
it
That's the
seems to
crazy
be.
part.
Do you think there's an element of if it ain't broke, don't fix it? I mean, and like, how does that make you feel about potentially Poch going to PSG and whatnot?
Like Poch?
Yeah, because he was always linked with the Man United job, right?
Yeah. You know what? I'm not it's bittersweet is what I'll say that is. Bitter in the sense that I'm still in the camp that if we got a more quality manager, we could be doing better. You know what I mean? We could have a bit more stability in our performances. I
Hmm.
still I still believe that. And it's not I know a lot of times, we're so fixated on Ole the legend, Ole the nice guy, um, our club, and we want to talk positive about our club, but if I was to take away the United blinders and actually just said quality wise, I think Ole has done a good job to cater to that team and manage it up to this point. But I think we're getting to that point whereby we need to hand it over to somebody who can take us to that next level. You
Mm.
know, so in that sense, it's bittersweet. It's bitter, but the sweet part is, I think, would be just our run of form of late. Like we haven't lost a game since the Arsenal loss. Well, is it in the league? In the league, we haven't lost a game in the league since Arsenal, and that's I think that's like 7 games, bro, 7 or 8 games, and we've had, I think it was 7 or 8 wins away from home in a row, which we were almost close to breaking that record if we had won against Leicester. So when you kind of look at the overall thing, I think it would be pulling the gun too early to fire Ole right now. I would say give him to the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's done enough to deserve the job till the end of the season. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, but yeah, so that's where for me with the Poch thing, it's like, yeah, you know what? We lost out on him, but let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. What's your take on the Poch situation?
I mean, sorry. Um, I mean, I've always said that like the only reason I would want Ole fired is if we could get Poch.
Yeah.
Can't get Poch, so gotta back him.
You got to back him at this point, man.
Gotta back him. Gotta be a
Yeah.
man of my word.
Yeah. You got to back him, but I still feel like we got to be, and I think this is what the fan base needs to, there's a difference between backing your manager and being critical of your manager. It's two different things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we're just so blinded now to the results that we're not being critical anymore. We're just saying, oh, yeah, Ole on the wheel, we're doing well, we're doing well. But I think the Champions League exit is gonna hunt Ole for a bit till the end of the season. I think it
Mm-hmm.
will because of how we lost out. This and it's the scary part for me is how we lost, how we got knocked out of the Champions League, and then this game against Leicester City. So that kind of shows me, did Ole learn from that loss, from that knockout? Did he really learn from that? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, has he just been riding on some level of Bruno phenomenon, the team just having a good morale right now? Like, what is it? Is it that Ole is actually learning from his mistakes, or is he just kind of doing the same thing and just the players are just on board? You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at now. Is like, did he learn, or is he just in that phase whereby he didn't really learn and he's gonna stick to what he's been doing? But they're getting the results, the players are happy, and we'll just keep moving forward. So that's my concern. Because if he hasn't learned from that, I can guarantee you we're gonna be sitting back here in the spring when we crash out of the actually not in the spring, the League Cup. When is the League Cup in a couple of weeks? We might crash out of that because we play Man City, So that's one league, that's one cup gone. We still have the FA Cup, which, yeah, maybe we might crash out again in the semifinals because Ole choose makes the wrong decisions. Um, what else do we have? The league as well. We could end up not saying that we could win the league this year, but the way the league is going right now, we have the best chance that we've ever had since Ferguson left. Like this year, this is, to me, I don't see any more perfect time of winning the league than this year because of how the quality that we have on our team, how we've been playing, and just what's happening around us. Like Liverpool, got trashed by Aston Villa. They dropped points to Fulham. They just dropped points to West Brom. So to me, I'm like, what? That would never have happened last season. And that's happening now. So to me, it's like Ole needs to get smarter now and say, you know what, we need to stop this. Oh, we're working every day, we're rebuilding, we're taking it day by day. No, He's got to start telling those players that, yeah, I know our plan was to, you know, our plan was to continue to develop, but he should be, I think what he should be telling his players now is, wait, guys, we have a serious chance to win this league. Like we do. We do have a serious chance. And I don't know if he's telling them that, but he needs to start showing that in his tactics. He needs to start showing that in his team selection. And how he brings on the subs. He needs to start showing that. And I don't think he's quite there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, it's kind of like you in sales, right? It's like when you're in sales, someone tells you, oh, your target is 1 million. And you're like, oh, wow, 1 million. Okay. I'll do what I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still new on the job. I'll do what I can. And then before halfway through the quarter, you're already at, let's say, 750,000 in sales. Do you just say, you know what, I'm still new, I'm still figuring it out. My target is 1 million, so I'm just going to keep doing it? Or would you be like, you know what, wait, my target is 1 million. I'm already at 750 halfway through the quarter. Are you still thinking, oh, I'm still new? Or would you be telling yourself, yo, I can beat that 1 million? So that's where I think that's where Manchester United is now. Is we still that team that is still trying to work? It's a process. We're working on it. We're trying to every step day by day. Or are we that team that's saying, you know what, we've got the quality at the back. Like, look at our bench, bro. That game against Everton. So the team that beat Leeds 6-1. That was our
6-2.
technically, sorry, was it 6-2? Oh yeah, 6-2. Sorry. So the team that played that game was basically our second best team. The game the next 2 days, we had 9 changes, and we were still that dominant against the second place Everton now. That tells you a lot, bro. You look at our bench. You have Pogba, Cavani, Van der Beek, Mason Greenwood, Alex Telles. Bruv, what team in the league right now could look at their bench and say that they have starters on their bench? Name a team in the league. No team in the league has the depth that we have, and not just depth, the quality of depth that we have. So to me, I think we need to start we need to start
outside of the Pep Guardiola team.
Over the Pep team, bro. Like, bro, who does City have right now? Is it Fernandinho? Fernandinho's like 37 years old. Is it Phil Foden? We have Mason Greenwood. Like, who else? Aguero is injured. But apart from Aguero, well, he's back now. But Aguero is like at the twilight of his career. He's a phenomenal player. Yeah, but we can arguably say we have Cavani as his clinical. Jesus, we have Rashford and Martial. You know what I'm saying? Like, people disrespect Martial and Rashford, but those two, look at what they're doing, bro. Like, look at what they're doing. Like, I was watching, who was I watching the other day? What was the game that I was watching? I think it was Man City. Was it Man City I was watching, or Everton or something like that? And I was just like, these are the strikers that people are praising in the league. People are saying, oh, this striker is great. This striker is great. I'm looking at them. I'm like, yo, y'all are disrespecting Martial and Rashford, bro. These guys are, I don't think we understand what we have. You know what I'm saying? Like the chances these guys were missing. Like, oh yeah, it was the Chelsea Arsenal game, which we'll talk about. The Chelsea Arsenal game. Timo Werner, bro. This guy is overrated. I'm officially gonna say that. He's overrated, bro. I was watching him against Arsenal. He's one-dimensional. And I haven't watched Chelsea all season, but every game I've watched of Chelsea, I've noticed that just as long as he has his back to goal, he's useless, bro. He's useless. He just dribbles into space for a corner, a throw-in. He just dribbles till like he can't anymore and loses the ball, or it goes for a goal kick. And I'm like, bro, this guy's not even levels on Martial. Like, look what Martial does to defenders, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Look
this
at
is
what
this is
Rashford.
this is a Timo Werner's first season in the Premier League, though.
No, it's not. I understand it's his first season. I understand it's his first season, but bruv, we're talking about just skill. Like we'll just talk about skill, bro. Because I watched him in and it was yesterday. It kind of clicked on me. He's like, he's not that good, bro. Like he's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good. He was playing in the German league, bro. And all his goals was him running at defenders. Like he's quick. Like he's extremely quick. There was a one-on-one that he had with I forgot who he was. I think it was Shaka, the one-on-one in the box, bro. It was one of those whereby he had so much space to run. He ran. And then it was one-on-one. A typical Martial would do a step over, hit the guy, or usually like a skilled striker would do a step over. Do you know what Timo did? He slowed down. He didn't know what to do. And then he tried to just like run the other way and lost the ball. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow, this is Timo. I'm like, this is what you're doing, bro. This is what you're doing against an Arsenal defense, bro. Nah, man. Like, I'm not saying that he's not good, but I think people need to start understanding like the EPL is a different level, man. The EPL is a different level. It's not because we have the best players or it's just a different league, right? Like put Martial, put Rashford in the German league, put them in the French league, put them in the Spanish league. Yo, Martial be scoring 35 goals a season. Like easily. 35 goals a season, bro.
Even in Germany, you think so?
Bro, look at Kai Havertz, bro. This guy had so much space in Germany. That's why he was doing all his bits. I know it's still his first season. He's gonna come around. He will come around. But look at all these players that keep coming to the EPL, bro. They look bang average. They look bang average, and it's not
Oh,
because they're not good. Just a different system, bro. Just a different system. I'm not saying they're not good.
mhm.
I just feel like they're yeah. I'm not
I
saying they're
think they're
not
being judged too early because these
what.
guys are still young.
No. There's a difference between okay. Yo, let me say this, man. Let me say this to you, bro. Quality is quality, man. Quality
Hmm.
is quality. Like there's certain plays that you just watch and you just know. Yeah, you know that okay, they gotta fine tune some things, you know, they're slowly getting into the league. You can tell. Like Van der Beek, for example, is a perfect example of that. Van der Beek, he's not anyone who thinks that Van der Beek when he comes on is at his top level, ain't at his top level. But the way he plays, you can just tell this kid, once he gets to that level, man, he's gonna be unreal. There's just some people like the first time you saw Mason Greenwood play, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, there's just a few players, man. There's just something, bro. There's just something that you see in a player. And like Mbappe, you know what I mean? When Mbappe was 17 or what he was doing, like Rooney, when he was 7. There's just something you see in players that you just know, no, the quality is there.
Hmm.
It just they just need to get used to it. But when I see like the Timo Werners, I'm like, no, man, I'm not seeing anything to your game that's gonna make me think you're gonna get better. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you will get better. Don't get me wrong; they're still young. He will get better if Chelsea can figure out a system from him, and the more games he plays in the Chelsea, yeah, he will get better. But I just don't think I don't know if he's ever gonna hit those heights. I think he might end up leaving, bro. Chelsea. I think he might end up just leaving Chelsea and going to back to Germany. Maybe Munich might buy him, and then he would do well again. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just certain players, man. That is I don't know how to explain it. It's just there's a talent. You can just see that somebody was just naturally born to play this game, and there's people that just worked hard to play this game. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I just don't see it with Timo, man. I've watched enough of him now that I'm like, nah, he doesn't have too much doesn't have too much to his game. Like he's still a good. Like don't get me wrong, he's still a good striker.
Hmm.
He's still a good striker, man. But I wouldn't be like, yo, Timo is that guy. I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And even when you talk to other people that are non, like my brother, for example, even when I used to be hard on Rashford, my brother was like, bruv, Rashford is a talent. And I used to be like, I knew he was talented, but I was like, I know he frustrates me, blah blah blah. But
But that's the
Rashford,
same thing, though. Right? It's like we're judging him too young, I think.
but it's fine though. But how old is Timo Werner? He's like 25 now, isn't he? Or 24?
24. I think Rashford's 23.
Yeah.
You know,
Look at what Rashford's doing versus Timo. Look what Rashford's doing, bruv.
I mean,
And
I agree. I'm just saying, I think if you give them, you know, 2 seasons and they're still doing shit, maybe you have more cause to say so, you know? Like, I think some players just have a bad first season, and
But you know what though? I'm not saying that he's bad, and this is what I'm just trying to say, like, because as Manchester United fans, we hate on Martial so much. We hate on we're very hard on Rashford, even though Rashford gets better treatment than Martial. But we're so hard on these strikers. But it's like when you go and watch other strikers that on the papers across Europe. Like when you think about the strikers across Europe, apart from your Lewandowski, like the older generation strikers, like who below the age of 24, I mean 25, in Europe is doing what Martial and apart from Haaland, what other below 25-year-old strikers doing what Martial and Rashford are doing?
Okay, but people would have said the same thing about Timo Werner when he was in the Bundesliga. So, like, you could say, well, what other people were doing, what Martial's doing, and you could have said Timo Werner. So, does that mean, like, if Haaland came to Premier League, that then he wouldn't do as well?
No, but it's about their game. It's about how they play the game, right? It's like how they play the game, right? Like, there's a reason why. Like, for example, certain players go to certain leagues and they shite the bed. Like your Herman Crespo's and those guys. Yeah, top goal scorer in Italy, banging goals every day. A lot of Italian players were like that, bang a lot of goals. Come to England, they're still struggling for a goal at Christmas. You know what I'm saying? But then they get bought back. Look at what's his name, all those Morientes and all those guys. What was that guy's name? The guy that came from Atletico Madrid to Chelsea and went back. What's his name?
Diego Costa.
Diego Costa. Yeah, Diego Costa wasn't that great for Chelsea. This guy was on the bench half the time. It wasn't that he was okay, but he wasn't like Diego Costa when he played in Spain. You know what I'm saying?
I think he had a good first season though.
Yeah, he had a good first season. Yeah, he had a good first season, but he didn't live up to the hype, man. He did not live up to the hype. And there's so many of them. I'm not saying that the EPL is better, but sometimes it just doesn't fit your style, man. It's just not. But that's how you know quality players like Cavani, for example. Like he's doing what he's doing at PSG, even though everyone made fun of the French league. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what he's doing in the EPL, just because he's just too techie, bro. Like he's just. And I always look at players that have. So this is what I'll say. So you know how I said that there's just something about players is the technical ability of players, and not every player has a technical ability. I don't think Timo Werner is technical in his game. I don't think he's technical. He's just He's just somebody who is fast and strong, and is accurate. That's all I see in him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but that's just who I see in him. But when we talk about technical abilities, Martial is miles ahead of him when it comes to technical ability on the ball. You know what I mean? Like Martial can give you a long pass. He can take 10 men on. He can take a shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like he can hit the top corner. There's so many assets to Martial's game or Rashford's game. You know what I'm saying? But Timo Werner, how many times do you really see him take on defenders? If he doesn't have the clear space in front of him, he's just as useless, man.
Question.
Yeah.
Would he do better under a different manager?
Maybe he might do. He might do better.
Same with Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz, though, he's also had some injuries and COVID, so I'm not gonna be harsh on him. And he does some great stuff for Germany as well. I think Havertz definitely needs more time. I think they all need more time. I'm just saying in terms of like how I'm just talking from an aspect of I think all those players are great, man. Like trust me, bruv. Like these guys are like the 1% of the world, and this is we're talking about soccer, whereby everybody wants to play soccer someday or football someday, right? So these guys are the elite. To make it into the EPL, to make it to any top team, you definitely have skill. What I'm trying to say is, as a Manchester United fan, we always think the grass is always greener, in the sense of how much we crucify Martial. But it's like, let's take a step back, man. Like these guys that we're comparing him to, the Timo Werners and those guys, they're not that good. You know what I mean? They're not as good. Like that. I think I'll always take Martial over Timo Werner right now, bro. Even when Timo was in Germany, Haaland I would take in a heartbeat. Haaland I would take, but Timo, I just he was, he's the star. He was he was that sensation. But for me, it's just like, I don't know, man. I just would not take him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this. Let me give you this example. If you had the option to get, who's one of the best, would you say Fabregas, maybe? One of the best like cams to ever play the game.
Ever? For
Yeah.
Fabregas, it's a strong claim. I'd say in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, yeah. Even just in general, like who was a strong cam? Like, okay, let's say Zidane, for example. Well, Zidane was not really a cam. Zidane was more of a CM. I'm just trying to think who was a really good cam. Crap, I can't even think. Okay, let's just say Fabregas at his, the highlight of his career, right? Bruno's putting up numbers right now. If you were to set up a team, would you put Fabregas or would you put Bruno? Both quality players. Bruno's putting up numbers. But when it comes to a solid team, who are you putting on your team? You understand what Fabregas did in Arsenal, man? This guy's top goal. He has like the most assists in the EPL history of all time. I know when his goal like contribution is up there. Like people underrate Fabregas, man. But
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a hard choice. And also, like Fabregas won stuff in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So as of right now,
what they've won. I'm not talking about what they've won, bro. Let's just talk about like just if you was to put a solid team, right? Just based on you just got to look at players just based on their individual abilities, like you know what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll put it like this way.
Yeah,
Bruno Fernandes would be easier to build a team around for me. Fabregas would be a more useful player to be able to, or more consistent.
It's the other way around, bro.
Huh?
I think it's the other way around, bro.
Nah, man. I think I would rather build around Fernandes, if I'm being honest. Maybe this is like a difference of coaching philosophies as well.
Bro. Man.
But like, this is what I'm saying. Like, Fabregas
just made everybody look nice on that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it would be easier to build a team around Fernandes as like,
okay,
like the attacking like focal point
possession, bro.
Like, huh?
How do you build a team around someone who can't hold the ball? That's
you get players that can run in behind. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
what if you can get a player that can score the goals that Bruno scores, can hold the play, can hold the ball to invite the players to come through, so that those players don't have to be doing all their jobs. That's what I'm saying about building a team is, I don't know. I think that's what this is very confused with building a team around players, right? Is you have to build a team around a player that you can trust in any aspect of the field.
But then this is the thing: is it like, as of right now, I'm seeing Fernandes play.
Yeah,
so like, it's easier for me to conceptualize building a team around him. I guess for me with Fabregas is like, if you're saying in terms of what they won.
No. I know
what you mean. But like, because like before, when I was gonna answer, it was like that was when I was like taking into account that in terms of how they play. This is what I mean. Like maybe like a coaching philosophy, a difference.
But I know why I say that, man. And I see what you're saying. I know where you're coming from with that. But I think
Mhm.
that's where I think the culture of football has changed. Is
Absolutely.
And I think that's where, as much as I respect Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, I think their ability, they became a gift and a curse to the game, if that makes sense. They just became a gift and a curse in the sense that we went from, I remember back in the day, like, no one cared. Like, if you were not a striker, nobody gave two Fs you were scoring like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Scholes, how many goals a season does Scholes have? Like, Paul Scholes. But are you going to say that if, let's say, I'm not saying, obviously, the game is different in today's day and age. The game is different. I get it. But if you were to put a prime Scholes and a prime Bruno, I don't know, man. I'm taking the prime Scholes. Even though Scholes ain't putting the same numbers.
I would agree, but like
Exactly.
I would agree. I would agree. But
Yeah.
also, that team, the game was also different back then, and that team was also not just. It was not just obviously Paul Scholes, the star of the team. He came from a whole class of like players that all knew each other and came up together. So it was really more about the team in that era.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is it's about the team. And also, I think a lot of like, someone made a great point too. The defensive skills of today's defenders is crap. It's crap, bruv. Like a lot of goals that getting conceded, I'm just like, what is going on here, man? Like you look at like when you look at defenders in today's game, like your Sergio Ramoses and your Maguires, and I feel like these were players who were not good enough to be midfielders, so they just made them defenders.
Mm.
That's what it looks like. They don't have like you can't compare today's defenders to like your Yap Stams, your Cannavaros, your Maldinis, your Nestor. Those were like some of the stuff that people get away with, man. I don't think you can get away with it in that era, if that makes sense. And I know, yeah, it's a different game because now it's all about fitness levels, about tracking your run, it's about tracking. There's just so many things into the game now that has kind of taken away from like the actual game. It's more about like how many runs did you make? What was your I think we're just focusing on the science versus the actual game, right? And that's where I think like the Ronaldinho's, the because if you think about it, that's why we don't even have those kind of players anymore. The Ronaldinho's, your R9s, your Zidanes, people that just played the game gracefully. Messi, I would say Messi's like one of the only person that is still of that era, like Messi. Because Ronaldo, maybe Ronaldo, I'll say Ronaldo, but just the way they just played the game was just so graceful, and it was not about like. I think you were right. It's about the systems now, and it's about like it's about the science now versus just
Mm-hmm.
go out there and just show your quality and skill. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I don't know, man. I think maybe that's where my age comes into play too. There's people out there too that are much older and they love the football that we're playing in Manchester United, but I just don't enjoy it, man. Like I just don't enjoy, like even the Leeds game. I didn't enjoy the Leeds game. We won. I think it was 6-2, but it was a great result. It was like the Liverpool game too. The Liverpool game that same day or the day before when they beat I forget who they beat 7-1. And it was the same thing. It was like I just didn't enjoy the game because there was just nothing to take away from it. You know what I mean? It was just the team was clinical. They took all their chances. That was it. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't write home about what the game plan was or what the pattern of play was. So, but anyways, we kind of got sidetracked there, like heavy, heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, we've already talked about points. We've talked about Poch to PSG. Um, how are you feeling about that though? Like, are you feeling like so? There's rumors now that if Poch goes to PSG, he might be getting Dybala or Ronaldo. He might get Dele Alli. Ericsson too. They said might be going to PSG, just because Ericsson is basically done at Inter. Like, do you feel that Poch could bring all these players together. There's even talks of Pogba might even go to PSG. Like, how you feeling about that situation? Do you feel like Poch can actually take PSG far?
Uh,
Tough one, I know, the tough one.
yes, yeah, I do. I think I think Pochettino has proven to be a very talented manager.
Yeah,
So more so than the managers they've had, with the exception of Carlo Ancelotti. But then it's also like if he couldn't do it, what makes you think Pochettino could?
mm,
So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. But I think, and that's always the test, right? With PSG is always Champions League, right? And I think that's like at the end of the day, the French league, they're always gonna do what they have to do in the French league. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's the Champions League that is just I don't know if they can ever get over that hump. They could, but I think that's really going to be his biggest test. But I think if he could do it with Tottenham, then why can't he do it with if he can get to the finals? Especially back then. Now this is actually the best time that he could take PSG to the finals because Real Madrid is not the same anymore. They need to rebuild. They have a lot of baggage right now. Barcelona is in turmoil with the president just got stepped down and the new elections they had. There's just so much going on. Messi's not happy at Barcelona. So this is the time that Munich going through their struggles in Germany right now too. So every team is going through struggles. So I think this is the time whereby Poch can come in, get all these dead weight that people don't want, like your Dele Allis. I think Dele Alli still has something to give. Ericsson, your Dybala, imagine if Pogba went there. There's even talks that Messi might go there, but I don't think they can handle that kind of bill. That might be too much, man. That would be too much. But, I think they could do something, man. I think they could do something. So just our last point before we wrap up, just because of time. How you feeling about Liverpool, man? It's like it's the same inconsistencies that we keep seeing across the league where it's like they they comfortably beat Tottenham, they comfortably beat a team, and then the next weekend they're dropping points to the bottom table teams. So how do you feel like Liverpool will be able to pull through, or do you feel like they might still there's going to be more inconsistencies to them in the season?
I hope there's more inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I hope there is. I don't know. I don't. Here's the thing. If I'm saying Man United are not title contenders yet, I don't know any other team that's in a position to challenge them because it will not be Leicester. So I'm going to assume they would pull through for the season.
Yeah, I just feel like this. They have a system in play, but I don't know, man. Do you feel like this is just down to COVID? This whole situation, because don't get me wrong, it makes the league very interesting. The fact that I think they said it was like 7 points separating. No, 10 points separating the top half, the top three, and the bottom three. That's crazy when you think about it. Like only 10 points. So it makes it for an interesting league, interesting season. But do you kind of boil that down to like COVID, or I don't know, man, or is it just there's no fans in the stadium to, you know, encourage the players to keep their head up? Like I don't know what it is, man. Like I know I just can't put my finger on it as
Yeah,
to why.
it's been a strange season.
Yeah, and yeah. So one last question, man. Do you feel with Manchester United in what do you think we should like United should prioritize in right now? Like what do you think they should?
How do you mean?
So what do you think they should prioritize in? So Champions League, sorry, not Champions, Europa League, Europa League, the league, or the League Cup? Which do you think that we should prioritize? Because Ole needs a trophy this year. I think This team has shown the spirit to get something this season, and we have the quality.
The Premier League, always the Premier League. We're a big club.
Ooh, wow! So you feel like you're okay with Ole just throwing away the Europa and just saying, you know what, we're just gonna focus, because I think that Europa is gonna be a killer for us, bro.
I
Thursday.
don't care about winning Europa.
What?
I don't care. We've won it,
bro.
We won it under Jose. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not a like. Don't get me wrong. I'm always down for winning silverware, but it's like if I can win any trophy, I would rather win the Premier League than the second-rate Europa League, the second-rate European League. Okay, that's a trophy that you win in addition to winning the league.
That is
Okay,
true. Yeah.
If you win the Europa League and if you I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot and say this because I'm pretty sure Jose did this. But if you win the Europa League and then finish like sixth in the league or something like that, with the exception of Jose, because he also won another league, another trophy, and because he's Jose, you get fired.
Yeah.
No, sorry, you don't get fired. That's harsh, but like that's not what you're aiming for. You know, like we want to be in the Champions League. So for me, as soon as we got out of the Champions League, I'm like, all right, whatever happens in the Europa League happens. I want the Premier League. That's the biggest trophy for me.
Yeah.
Instead of the Champions League, because if you win the Champions League in season and win nothing else, your job's going to be alright.
Well, if you win the Champions League, you automatically qualify for the Champions League, don't you?
Exactly. Europa League?
No, Champions League.
Are you saying if you win the Europa League, you automatically qualify for Champions League?
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood what you said because you were saying that you feel that it's bigger than the Champions League because even if you win it, it doesn't mean anything.
I don't say it doesn't mean anything. I just mean like if you win the Champions League, and nothing else in the season, that is still an amazing season.
Oh, true, yeah.
If you win the Europa League and nothing else in the season, that is a good season. I don't want a good season. I want the amazing season. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah we can win the Europa League, but it's like,
ooh. You just got something. Yeah, I hear you, man. For me right now, it's all about trophies, bro. Trophies. What was that song with Drake? Trophies. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just about the cabinet, you know, you just have to. But I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying is if someone told me right now that, if I had to pick and someone said the league or Europa, I'll definitely take the league. If someone had a crystal ball and said, pick one now, Manchester United can win the league or the Europa League, I'm definitely picking the league for sure. That's my answer. The league for sure. Yeah. We just need someone here. I can't even say the Juanes. How do you say that? Is asking what who do we support? We support Manchester United, but this is a soccer podcast, so we kind of cover games across the league and also Champions League as well. Thank you for your comment. So that's basically it for today, man. Yeah. So how are you feeling for the Wolves game? How are you feeling? Never want to think about that right now.
You and I have had arguments about this in the past.
What?
You and I have had arguments about this in the past with Wolves.
About Wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get so pissed off when we lose to them.
And they played really well today against Tottenham. They conceded that early goal, but they basically dominated the game. And I don't know what Mourinho was thinking, taking off Ndombele and Son. And I mean, he just from the second half, you knew he was just going to come out defensively because that's what Mourinho does. You know, you score a lucky goal and he's like, okay, pack up shop. But yeah, well, hopefully we do well. Wolves don't have their two best players from last season in Diego Jota and Jimenez. So let's see. We could do something. But yeah, we'll leave it at this. It's been over an hour. We've definitely had a good chat. I know we kind of got sidetracked with the Bruno Fernandes conversation there. But yeah, man. Other than that, do you have any last thing to say or add to this?
Me? No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Hope
okay.
we beat Wolves.
Yeah, hopefully we do. What's your prediction for that game?
Oof. Let's say a draw. 2-2.
Yeah, I'll take you on that too. 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say like one. Yeah, either 1-1 or 0-0.
All right.
Just because I think with Wolves, yeah, but they've been shaky defensively this season. So yeah, we could score a goal, and now we have informed Bruno. So
Mm.
yeah, we could do something. But anyways, man, it's been fun, bro. Definitely been fun chatting with you. For those of you watching, please continue to like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to grow. It's a new channel. We're trying to continue to grow this and continue to bring out good content for you. So yeah, so we're here every Sunday evening. Um, yeah, just to talk about the weekend review of all the games. But other than that, yeah. So till next time, we'll see you and have a good rest of the week and a happy New Year.
Happy New
Take
Year.
care, man.